Okay, and New Orleans and Cleveland might be miles apart, but for some Northeast Ohioans, New Orleans could be a second home.
From the Sugar Bowl, we talked about that earlier, to the Super Bowl and Mardi Gras just a few weeks away, News 5's Nadine Abasada spoke with two families who say the New Year's Day attack will not stop them from celebrating down there in the Crescent City.
For the Millers, New Orleans is a place of joy.
How could you not want to be a part of its culture and food and music?
Fun.
Well, I've been traveling to New Orleans since I was a teenager, and for the last 5 years, I have been riding on the crew of Cleopatra for Mardi Gras.
And a retirement destination the Canton natives visit twice a year. But the tragic events of New Year's Day left Jonathan and Stephanie devastated.
When you're on Bourbon, everyone is there on vacation, having a great time. It's unfathomable to me that it could be a place of violence at the drop of a hat.
Today we learned the New Year's Day attacker attacked alone, killing more than a dozen and injuring dozens more on Bourbon Street.
It was heartbreaking.
Shireen Nasser and her husband, Brian Duplessis, a New Orleans native, were traveling from Cleveland to New Orleans with their kids on Wednesday to visit family. But during their layover in Chicago, they saw the news.
And our phones were completely blown up with text messages.
And the moment they touched down,
people are still just very much glued to the news. And even when we landed and came into the airport, there were just cops and like they had the police dogs everywhere. I mean, the whole city, I think, is really on edge.
They knew this trip would be like no other.
There's a lot of questions, a lot of sadness. What a way to start the first day of a new year.
Every year, Shireen and Brian, as well as the Millers, travel more than 1,000 miles to get from Cleveland down to New Orleans. Though it seems far in distance, at a time like this, Shireen says the two cities are closer than ever.
New Orleans, it's a place, one of the most resilient places I know, maybe other than Cleveland. And one of the reasons we feel so at home in Cleveland is because of that resiliency that both cities have.
As their hearts break for NOLA, both couples are adamant they won't let this tragedy stain the Crescent City they love. Are you still going to Mardi Gras?
Absolutely.
It needs the support and not to be deterred. I think while it's hurting, it doesn't break the spirit of anybody who lives there or anybody like us that feel a connection, that want to be a part of it.
This city will rebuild, and that's what the city does year in and year out, no matter what happens, from hurricanes to attacks to even just local issues. Everybody helps each other out.
Reporting in Cleveland, Nadine Abasada, News 5.